Good morning. It is Wednesday morning gentle yoga, and we're ready to set up on the mat. Let me adjust the camera. Oh, isn't that lovely and perfect? Okay, let's go ahead and start off on the mat. If you have a bolster, a blanket, a pillow, that is ideal. When we start off with our morning yoga, we might be a little bit less open, although last night we did some beautiful hip openers. So this morning, my lower back and my hips are feeling really lovely. So perhaps this morning we'll follow up with similar poses to really open up the back of the hips, maybe spend some more time in pigeon like we did last night. That was really lovely. So let's find our seated pose, our easy seated Sukhasana, sitting with our shoulders stacked really beautifully and perfect over our hips. And let's take that same mudra that we took last night, where we place our index fingers, ring fingers, and pinkies kind of falling down our thumbs against our thumb, index fingers pointed out, arms, let's draw them back towards the ribs so that we can encourage maximum movement of our diaphragm for inhalation and exhalation. And let's inhale through our nose and exhale. As we inhale, expanding our belly. And as we exhale, drawing it back in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, expand the belly and your lower ribs. And exhale, draw it all back in. Do that again. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, expand the belly, the lower ribs, and your middle ribs. And on your exhale, draw that all back in. Inhale again. Exhale. On your next inhale, draw your breath from your diaphragm all the way into the chest, expanding the collarbones along with your rib cage and your diaphragm. One more inhale. And exhale. Now on our next inhale, I want you to draw your breath from your diaphragm, from your lowest part of your lobes and your diaphragm, all the way to the crown of the head. Hold that for a moment, and then exhale, releasing it all. Inhale. Exhale. Take another inhale. And fully exhale. Let's link our breath with movement. Inhale our hands up. Exhaling them out and down. Inhale our hands out and up. Exhale them out and down. Inhale our hands out and up. Exhale them out and down. The reason I always cue the outing of the arms as they go up and down is to encourage the expansion of the breath as we raise up our arms, and also to encourage that as we bring our arms out, we're bringing our shoulder blades together, which further opens up the chest and opens up all of the structures that encourage bringing in a deep breath. So let's inhale one more time up. And then with our hands overhead, exhale and hinge forward at the hips, keeping your spine straight, arms high up in the air. And when you have moved forward as much as you can and you'd like to go a little deeper, perhaps drop your hands to the floor, draw your elbows into your body, keeping your fingers tented, draw your heart center forward. If you desire, you can even lay down. Some people have a lot of openness in the backs of their hips, and they're really able to get some really nice extension in these forward seated folds. Inhale, rise up and walk your hands back. Take the foot that's in front, in my case it's my right foot, and place it behind. Maybe reorganize your sits bones again. In Sukhasana, inhale our hands up. And then exhale, hinging forward at the hips, keeping our shoulders planted on our back, arms overhead. When you've hinged forward as far as you feel you can go, drop your hands to the floor. Bring your elbows near the body as you move your heart center forward, continuing to draw your shoulders onto the back as you engage in this seated forward fold. And if you want, you can place your hands out in front. And then inhale, rise up, walk your hands back. Let's inhale our hands overhead again. Exhale our hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale them out and down. And one more, inhale out and out. Exhale them down. Let's move with our head towards the top of our mat, our feet towards the bottom of the mat. I'm on my round mat, so I'll call this side the top and this side the bottom. Taking our tabletop position, let's do some cat-cow. So inhale, generate the movement with the inhale. So inhale first, and then drop the belly and bring up the heart center. And then starting your exhale, start your exhale, and then move your back towards the ceiling as you move into cat. Inhale, lifting up the heart center, drawing the shoulders down the back as you lift up your sits bones. And then exhale, draw your belly up, draw your back up to the ceiling as you drop your crown. Inhale, lifting up your heart center, drawing your shoulders down the back, lifting up your sits bones. And then exhale, drawing your back up towards the ceiling. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Drop the belly, lift up the heart center, draw the shoulders down the back. And then on your exhale, go ahead and draw your back towards the ceiling. Let's walk our hands forward in our first puppy dog pose of the day. Focus on creating extension, but keep your heart center somewhat lifted as you're just now warming up your shoulders, just now warming up the front of the body. Keep your hips nice and high in the air. Draw the belly button in as you descend. Nice long inhalations and exhalations. One more. And then on your exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back. If you have blocks, we're going to go ahead and start our sun salutations. So take your blocks, moving up to the front of the mat. Take your Tadasana or pose, your mountain pose. So I'm holding my blocks in my hand because I'm going to use them in our sun salutations this morning. But to stand in a nice mountain pose, we draw the shoulders back and down. We lift up the heart center. We draw the belly button in against the spine, which allows space for the tailbone to drop towards the floor. We have a firm foundation with our toes. If we want to further establish that foundation, we can lift up all 10s of our toes and then slowly lower them down after our feet 3 points have made contact with the floor. Draw our head back in alignment with our shoulders and turn our palms forward. Inhale our hands overhead. Exhale, let's hinge at the hips. Bend the legs to start. Drop the crown. In our forward fold. Inhale, lift up to a flat spine. Exhale down, bend the legs again, drop the crown. Inhale, rising up with a flat back, rising our hands all the way up. Exhale, bringing them down. Inhale, bring our hands all the way up. Exhale with hands out to the side, bend our legs and hinge forward, torso over the thighs as we drop our crown into forward fold. Inhale into a flat spine, straightening out our legs. Exhaling, then down, everything down into forward fold. Inhale, rising up with a flat spine, bringing our hands up and overhead. Exhale, bring our hands down in a circle to the front. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, bend our knees, hinge at the hips, dropping our torso on top of our thighs, dropping our crown. Inhale into a flat spine. I said straight legs before, but if you feel like you need to have them bent, then you have them bent. Exhale, bend your legs again, drop your crown, and rise all the way up, flat spine, bringing our hands all the way up at the top together. Exhale, bring our hands down. Now we're ready to move into our sun salutations this morning. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, hinging at the hips as we go into forward fold, placing our blocks on the floor. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down and take our right foot back, dropping our right knee. Move your hips, or move your blocks into position close to the hips. Draw up your heart center on your inhale. And then on your exhale, bring your left knee back to join the right and walk your hands forward in that puppy dog pose. Create as much extension with your arms as you can. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, walking your hands back. Grabbing your blocks and bringing your right foot forward. Inhale, lift up your heart center. Exhale, tuck your toes. Bring your left foot forward to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Inhale, rising all the way up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Take a nice inhale. Exhaling our hands down, inhaling our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Take your blocks. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Take your left foot back and drop your knee. Inhale your heart center up. Exhale, moving your right knee back to join left and moving into puppy dog pose. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, create extension. Inhale, rise up. And then on your exhale, bring your left foot forward. Inhale, rise up your heart center. And then on your exhale, tuck your right toes and bring your right foot forward to join the left. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rising your body all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, circling your hands down to meet at the heart center in prayer. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, our hands down. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor, drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down, take our blocks. And exhale our right foot back. Inhale our heart center up. Maybe bring the hips forward this time. Exhale, move your hips back in space. Moving into a runner stretch, peeling your left foot off the floor. Maybe adjusting the blocks so that now you can move the heart center forward. Try not to overextend the lower spine, so draw the shoulders onto the back as you move the heart center forward. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, bring your left knee back to join the right and walk your hands forward. Take a nice inhale. And then exhale, walk your hands back. Take your blocks again. Bringing your right foot forward. Inhale, lift up your heart center. And then on your exhale, tuck your toes and move back into that runner's lunge with your right leg. Again, drawing your shoulders onto your back as you bring your heart center forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring your left foot to join your right foot. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a nice inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Grabbing your blocks, take your left foot back and drop your left knee. Inhale, lift up your heart center, perhaps moving your hips forward. Exhale, bring your left knee back. I'm sorry, keep your foot right where it is. I'm sorry. Moving our hips back, peeling our toes off the floor as we go into runner's lunge. Again, draw the shoulders back on the spine as you draw your heart center forward and bring your right hip back. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, then bring your knee back to join your other knee and walk your hands forward in that puppy dog pose. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, walking your hands back. And bring your left foot forward. Inhale your heart center up as you open up that right hip perhaps. And then on your exhale, moving back into that runner's stretch again, moving the hips back, peeling the toes off the floor, bringing the heart center down, remembering to keep our shoulder blades on the back. Take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, move forward, tuck your toes and bring your right foot to join the left. Inhale into a flat spine, exhaling down. Inhale, we'll rise all the way up with a flat spine, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. So now we're going to add a twist onto that while we're on the ground. So everything, as you know, is low to the ground on our Wednesday morning routine. Take a nice inhale. Exhale our hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the ground, drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, hands down, take our blocks. Right foot back in space. Drop our knee. Inhale our heart center up as we bring our right hip forward. Exhale, go ahead and lift up slightly out of this lunge. Inhale our hands up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, and twist to your left, clipping your right elbow over your left knee, drawing your left shoulder back. If you want to continue to open up the right hip, I don't think you need to work on that because we're fully twisted, so it's opening it up. Take an inhale, and then on your exhale, lift up your arms, circling them up. Exhale, grabbing your blocks, moving your left knee back to join the right. Go ahead and walk your hands forward, keeping your hips elevated as you now can probably more deeply move into this pose and open up the shoulders. Inhale, rise up and walk your hands back. Take our right foot forward on the exhale. Inhale, lifting up the heart center. And then on your exhale, back out of that just a little bit. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center and twist to the left, clipping your left elbow over your right knee, drawing your right shoulder back as you engage your twist. Breathe evenly. Breathe deeply. One more inhale. Exhale, turn to neutral. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, grab your blocks, tuck your left toes, and bring your left foot forward to join the right. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, our hands down. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor, drop the crown. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, take your left foot back. Inhale our heart center up. Exhale, moving out of that just a little bit. Inhale, rise your hands up. I'm on a kind of funny part of the mat here. Sorry, gotta do some adjustment. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's twist to the left again. Clipping our left elbow on the outside of our right knee and drawing the right shoulder back as we engage this twist. One more inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, our hands up. Exhale, grabbing our blocks, moving our knees back to join one another, and then walking our hands forward on the exhale. Inhale, rise up. Grab your blocks, and then on your exhale, bring your left foot forward, moving into that lunge as we inhale our heart center up and our shoulders down. Exhale, lift up the hips, then inhale, rise our hands. Exhale, bringing them to prayer pose at the heart center and twisting to the right. On your exhale, twist and draw your left shoulder back. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, grab your blocks, tuck your toes and lift up your right knee and bring it forward. Your right foot forward to join the left. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhaling down. And then inhale with flat spine. Rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Our body should feel nice and open and well oxygenated. So just as we did last night, we're not going to do Skandasana this morning, but we are going to go into that breathing back and forth movement using gate pose and that modified side plank. So standing on our knees, let's place our hands on our hips. Draw the shoulders back and down. Lift up the heart center and just enjoy that you've opened everything up to allow free movement of the breath. Let's take another nice nourishing breath. And then on your exhale, take your right foot out to the side. Take your hands to warrior two pose. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, drop your left hand, raise up your right hand, and have a nice long stretch of your entire right side body. Perhaps draw your right shoulder back. And if you want, you can even bring your hand back more to increase the stretch of your chest. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, rise up and then go all the way into gate, dropping your right hand on your left leg or right leg, drawing your left arm alongside your left ear. Perhaps draw your left shoulder back just a bit to open up your left side body. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, returning to warrior two arms and descending your left hand down to the floor as you raise up your right hand. Exhale, rise up into warrior two arms, or inhale, rise ups rather, and move into gate pose. Drawing your left arm alongside your left ear. Draw your left shoulder back. Exhale, rising up our hands, dropping our left hand down to the floor. Right hand overhead. And then inhale, rise up into gate again. Exhale, returning to warrior two arms, placing our hands on our hips. Bring the right knee in to join the left. Take the left knee out to the side. Inhale our hands up into warrior two arms. Exhale, drop our right hand. Draw back our left shoulder. Left hand is up towards the ceiling. And if you want, you can just really open things up. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, rise up. Move into gate, dropping our left hand to our left leg, drawing our right arm alongside our right ear. Draw the shoulder back a little bit as we curl to the left. Take an inhale. Exhale, returning to warrior two arms and moving into that supported side plank. Inhale, rise up into gate. Exhale, dropping our right hand to the floor as we lift our left hand overhead. Inhale, rise up as we move into gate. Exhale one more time, placing our right hand on the floor, left hand overhead. And then rise up on the inhale into gate. Exhale, hands out to the side. Bring our left knee in to join the right. And let's take child's pose again. Sitting back on our heels, walk our hands forward. If you widen your knees, you will leave plenty of space for the diaphragm to exhale and inhale. let's thread the needle, leaving our left arm outstretched, and take our right arm underneath our left arm and twist to our left. If you want to increase that stretch, perhaps take your left arm behind you and clip it on top of your right thigh, drawing your left shoulder back. One more inhale. Oh, my neighbor just started his car and it frightened me. Okay, put your right arm out in front and take your left arm and thread it underneath your right arm, laying down, twisting to the right on your left shoulder. If you want to increase the stretch, take your right arm around and clip the top of your left thigh, drawing your right shoulder back. Take another inhale, and then exhale. You can go ahead and place your right arm in front, moving back into child's pose again. Rising up. Bring your knees together and go ahead and tuck your toes and just sit briefly back on them. Stretching out our feet. Enjoying the opening up of the entire bottom of the foot. Our feet need the love. And let's, instead of laying down for pigeon pose like we did last night, let's take a seat. And initially, have our feet out in front of us, but our legs are bent. Take our hands behind us and lift up our heart center on the inhale. Just lift, lift, lift as much as you can, lifting out of your hips. Drawing your shoulder blades together, opening up the throat, dropping your head back. Exhale, release from that. Take your right ankle and cross it over the left. So initially, you may be just kind of leaning back like I am right now. So what I want you to work on is pushing up and out of your hips, just like you just did, straightening out your back. And just sit here and allow your hip to naturally open up on its own. Flex your foot and bring your toes back towards your knees. And just allow the muscles and the joints to just release on their own. And then when you feel that there has been a release, when your body has sent those signals, then begin by walking your hands closer to the body. And then sit with that for a little while, enjoying that opening of the hip. So I feel this quite intensively along kind of the back end of the hip where it's hitting the ground, moving into my hamstring, but I don't feel it in my back. So that's where I don't want you to feel it. I want you to feel it on the hip and not the back. So the answer to that is always to lift up and out of the hips, straightening out the back. And if you need to back out of the pose, then feel free to do so. Good morning, Poe. And now I'm going to start to move my left foot closer to increase my stretch. And so that brings a new level of intensity, but it isn't painful. It's just a reminder to me that I'm still deepening into my stretch. And then you can continue to work your foot closer to the body, just as I did, if that's available. If not, you continue on with how you are. And each time we move the leg closer or move the hands closer, drawing our heart center closer to our leg, each time we do that, we wait. And we let the body naturally open up on its own. So this is a nice time to tell stories. We sit around and distract ourselves from what's really going on with the hip so that we can allow it to open up on its own without us stressing about what that hip is doing. So now would be a good time to tell stories, to make observations, or even just get into your breath. And I'm looking at that mess of wires under the chair, knowing I still need to find a solution to that ugliness, because it's most unattractive in my beautiful little studio here. Looking at my beautiful tree and then that mass of wires and cable boxes. That's craziness. Take another nice deep inhale. And then exhale, let's gently release that by moving our left foot out, taking our right ankle off of the left knee. If your hands are feeling a little funny, just go ahead and introduce some movement to them. Another option you have is you can use your blocks to give you some height with your arms in the back. So that's another option we always have. All right, next side, left ankle crossed over our right knee. And initially, perhaps we start off kind of far away, heart center far away from the knee. Now this is my more open side, so I generally find I'm able to move a little bit more quickly into this side. And so I'm going to start by first lifting up my heart center, straightening out the back, lifting up and out of the hips, drawing my hands a little closer to the body, flexing my foot, drawing my toes back towards my knee to protect the knee joint. And then I'm going to start moving my right foot closer to the body. So everybody has one side that's more open than the other. I always say, don't stress over it, it's okay. The body is going to do what the body is going to do. And what we seek to do is create balance with the body. So we try not to exploit the side that is more open. And we encourage greater opening of the side that's more closed. So we just always are trying to bring them into balance with one another. I love doing these classes where we are inspired by a mudra for the week, because it really informs me as to how to roll out these classes for y'all. And I'm enjoying spending the time that we've spent over the last 2 days really opening up the body, using the breath as our guide. Okay, I think we can gradually back out of this now. My elbows are totally locked, holding me up like this. And go ahead and gently release the hands, release the arms. Bring your arms overhead. And then on your exhale, let's lay across our thighs. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lay across the legs, bringing our hands down to our feet. Inhale, rise up. Really focus on lifting up the heart center, lifting up the crown, lifting out of the hips. Exhale, move forward. Inhale, rise up. And then exhale, place our hands on the floor. And let's move into fish pose because it's such a nice pose. tuck our fingers underneath our hips. So we're sitting here with our knees still bent, feet to the floor, sitting straight up. Bend our elbows and go back onto our elbows. And then focus on lifting up the heart center. So drawing the shoulders away from the ears, lifting up the heart center. If you want to move your hips further on top of your hands, you can. Straighten out your feet. Now that you've arrived at this pose, go ahead and drop your head back. Continue to lift up the heart center as you drop your head back. Take one more long inhale. Exhale, bring chin to chest and find your way to laying down. Bring your knees up to the chest and hug them tightly. Curl into a ball, hugging your legs. Now, I don't know if you experience this, but one of the benefits of fish pose, because you're inverting your head, opening up your throat, lifting up and opening up the heart center, my sinuses just release. Take your hands around your right knee and draw it very close to the chest, moving more towards your right shoulder. Go ahead and drop your left leg down to the floor, pressing the back of your leg against the floor, and just really focus on the opening of this right hip. Holding it tightly against the body, just encouraging that crease to release. Take a nice long inhale. And then on your exhale, move your right foot down and notice if your right leg feels longer than your left by having done that. I don't know if mine is, but it feels longer. Take your left leg up to the chest, bending the knee, wrapping your arms or hands rather around the shin underneath the knee, and then draw that left knee close to the shoulder, keeping your right leg pressed onto the floor. Continue to draw it close, encouraging the release of that crease of the hip. Continuing to breathe deeply into that. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, go ahead and release that down. And notice if your leg feels longer. Take a nice full body stretch, arms overhead, stretching out the body, feet in one direction, hands in the other. A nice, beautiful stretch. And then take your arms, wrapping them around the back of your body, giving yourself a hug. Let's bend our legs. And let's cross our right leg over our left leg. And we're going to go ahead and go into a spinal twist. But by having our legs stacked, we might increase the stretch on the outside of the left hip. So placing your hands out to the side, allow your legs to drop to the right. You don't have to do anything. Your foot can remain in contact with the floor. But you should feel a nice stretch all along from the top of the crest of the hip, all the way down the front of the hip. So it's a little bit different than our other spinal twists where we feel it on the back side of the hip. And because you're using the weight of your leg to draw down your knee, you don't have to have your arms involved. Inhale, rising up. Take your right foot and place it next to your left on the floor. And cross your left leg over your right. And then allow your right knee to drop to the left. And again, each side may feel slightly different. You may find yourself more open on one side than the other, have more fluid on one side, more fluid movement one side versus the other. Everybody's bodies are different. Let's take one more inhale. And on your exhale, lift up your leg, uncross your legs, place your feet together in bound angle, and allow your knees to drop out to either side. Just allowing this gentle opening of the inside where the leg meets the hip. Some call it the groin. Alrighty. Now we are going to move into our meditative portion of our class this morning. So I invite you to find whatever pose works for you. I really enjoy sharing the up the wall pose with the legs. So I invite you to join me in that because it's nice and restorative. So placing your sits bones against the wall and just running your legs up the wall. This allows the blood to reverse, which is really nice for our circulation to reverse our blood flow. It takes any kind of pressure out of the lower hips. It allows a gentle opening of the back legs. Allows the entire spine to be pressed against the floor, taking out any tension of curvature of the spine. So it's really a lovely pose. I recommend it frequently. So as we lay here with our legs up the wall, you pick your hand position. You can have your hands flat on the floor. You can allow them to rest against your thighs. You can allow them to rest on your belly. But what I really want you to focus on is releasing any work to hold this pose. I want you to allow gravity to draw your body down into the floor. Fully relaxing into that experience of drawing your body down to the floor. Inhale, expanding the diaphragm. And exhale, allowing it to draw in. Inhaling, expand. And exhale, draw it in. Scan your body from the crown of your head, down your forehead and down your face. As you scan what you leave behind, leave it in a deeply relaxed state, no tension. Scanning down the jawline and down your ears, down your neck to your shoulders and your collarbones, across your chest, down the arms, down the ribs. Scanning down the forearms, across the solar plexus muscles, past the hands and the hips, moving down over the thighs, over the knees, making its way down the shins, down to the ankles, and across all of your foot. Allowing any remaining tension or energy to exit out of the ends of your toes. Now lay here and just visualize a peaceful place, a quiet place. Maybe you are at a beloved park on a beautiful patch of green grass, underneath a tree, with your ever-present fedora over your face to block out any sun. And you say, I'm just going to lay here for a few minutes and close my eyes. And you allow the coolness of the grass and the earth to support you. And around you, you hear gentle sounds, children playing and of people talking. You hear the wind whistling through the leaves, a gentle breeze. You feel the warmth of the sun touching your skin, dancing through the leaves, creating shadows and light at the same time. You begin to deepen your breath, relax into that experience, allowing your body and your heart and your mind to be fully present in that moment, enjoying that moment, nourishing you in that moment. In that moment, you have no fears, no stresses. You are fully and completely focused on your own relaxation and enjoying where you are in time at that precise moment. When we take Shavasana or our resting pose, this is our goal, to be fully present in the moment. And to give ourselves anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes to enjoy that moment, to relax in that moment. And if you find that you're in Shavasana and you fall asleep, that means you did everything right. A good Shavasana will feel so deeply relaxing that you might even feel like for a moment you've left your body and you can observe it from the outside. I call that transporting to somewhere else. The light in me sees the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. This video will be posted on YouTube. I invite you to join my YouTube channel so you will be alerted anytime there is a new video. Thank you for joining me this morning for yoga. Have a beautiful day and remember to breathe fully and often. Namaste.